To our research advisor, Ms. Raisel Ragandang, and to our panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Ferdinand Bonoan.
And I am Reina Diaz.
I am Andrea Gil M. DUMLAO.
And I am Joe Miguel Aliada.
We are the first group of researchers from Grade 12 St. Benedict of NURSIA, and we are here to present our qualitative research entitled Ma'am, Naririnig Na Po Ako, a phenomenological study of the experiences of senior high school students of Malati Catholic School with online learning. As we all know, there is a transition in the educational system of the Philippines to adopt to the new normal education, acquiring different teaching modalities due to pandemic. That is why we started our title with a line, Ma'am, naririnig na po ako. Because this is the line that most of the students say because of the unstable internet connection in the Philippines. There are a lot of things that students are experiencing while attending their online classes, which is why we conducted a research to describe their experiences, challenges, and perception as a student from the senior high school department. So we would like to tackle their own individual online learning experience. So here's Miss Reina Rosab Diaz to give you the introduction and the statement of the problem.
According to University of the People, education increases your chances for better career opportunities and opens up new doors for yourself. Education is one of the most important things that a person must acquire in order to be successful in life. With this being said, issues regarding education must be addressed immediately to avoid further complications in the future. It is evident that the pandemic that we are experiencing right now made huge impacts on many things such as the economy, livelihood, and education. Due to precautionary measures, DepEd decided to push through the school year by conducting online classes and other teaching modalities. With this kind of setup, a lot of students didn't have enough resources to continue studying, resulting in 2.5 million students who did not enroll this school year. In addition, there are also a lot of inconveniences encountered by not only the students but as well as the teachers themselves. The statement of the problem. Personally, we, the researchers ourselves, struggle from search. Personally, we, the researchers ourselves, struggle from certain issues, and so we would like to address these problems so that learning would still be fun and effective despite the changes that are done. By having this research, we intend to describe the experiences of students in online learning in order to get a first-hand understanding on how it affects them. We aim to know the struggles that students are facing every day and hopefully help with coming up to a solution. We think that our study will have great contribution in shedding light on how exactly online learning works and what are the things that the students experience. In addition, it can also help future researchers who will be interested in knowing more about this matter, especially now that there is a big possibility that some may consider this mode of learning as a long term plan. Our research aims to know the answers to the following question. First, what are the experiences of students during online classes? Second, what are the struggles that students encounter during online learning? And lastly, how effective are online classes from the point of view of students? And now, here's Miss Andrea Dumlao to give us the research methodology.
For the research design, we have used a live experience design in this study to determine the students' experiences, views, and perspectives about online learning. We used this research design to discover commonalities between the students' experiences. Furthermore, we use recorded responses from students regarding their experiences, views, and perspectives to assess this new setup and learn about its positive and negative aspects. For our respondents, we interviewed two grade 11 students and six grade 12 students from the ABM and STEM strands of Malate Catholic School's Senior High School Department who are currently enrolled in online learning. As previously stated, the research environment is in the Senior High School Department of Malate Catholic School. Classes are typically divided into two types, synchronous and asynchronous classes. In synchronous classes, both teachers and students meet for the purpose of discussing lessons. On the other hand, in asynchronous classes, teachers and students do not meet, but teachers assign specific tasks for students to complete. Furthermore, MCS uses Google as their primary platform for the students. And so we decided to conduct our interview through Google Meet since there are a lot of restrictions due to the pandemic. The following instruments were used in the study. First, the interview guide aided us in gathering data about the information that we wanted to know. The perspective of students on online learning were included in this data. Second, the audio recordings assisted us in transcribing the data from the interviews. As one might expect, we first sought the respondents' permission to conduct an audio interview. Furthermore, the entire interview was recorded with cell phone. Moreover, we selected participants at random from MCS grade 11 and 12 students. We have also sent a consent form to the participants in order to obtain their approval, which indicates whether or not they are willing to participate in our study. We are simultaneously recording the interview while taking notes on their insights. Following that, we now analyze the data that we had gathered. We have also analyzed and examined thoroughly the information gathered from the respondents, and we organized it based on their similarities. We carefully examined each of their experiences, insights, and stories. We also focused on the respondents' experiences during and after their classes. Finally, we chose respondents for our study using the purposive sampling procedure. As I've mentioned earlier, we are looking for senior high school students from Malate Catholic School who are currently enrolled in online classes. Here's Mr. John Miguel Aliada to give us the research findings and interpretations of our research.
Findings were based on the data collected, analyzed, and been interpreted by the previous researchers. As for our findings and interpretation, we have gathered and analyzed data that could summarize the basis of our research. For the first research question, the respondents elaborated on how they attend online classes and what are the things that they prepare before attending. Most of the participants use an iPad, laptop, desktop, or cell phone to be able to access the online platform that they use in classes, which are the G Suite applications, which when they are asked about their setup at home when studying, answers were divided into two, but most of them said that they do not have a comfortable environment that they can study. Some of them even elaborated that they don't have their own study place in their houses, which makes it more difficult for them to focus on their classes. This leads to the second question that we asked, which is about experiences or struggles that they have encountered in attending online classes. Having an unconducive environment in their respective houses is one of the struggles our respondents are facing. Moreover, psychologically speaking, anxiety and mental breakdown also becomes a struggle for students because it prevents them from processing the lessons that they tackle and accomplishing their tasks. Furthermore, internet connection also interrupts the classes that they need to attend. This is the most frequent struggle that the students encounter due to the fact that our country has the poor internet service providers. Synchronous classes are the ones being affected by this, which is the most important classes, and if you miss it, then there will be consequences. One of the consequences is encountering academic difficulties because you miss some important notes that the teacher said during the synchronous session. Some respondents find it difficult to catch up, while others who attended the classes to be able to follow their lesson. With all of this being said, the third question of our research aims to know if online classes are effective for them. Most of our respondents claim that online classes are not effective for them due due to the struggles that they have been that encountering ever since this kind of setup happened. It would really take a lot of effort and adjustment to fully enjoy the benefits of online classes. Despite the struggles, some respondents still mention that somehow it is still effective for them because it gives the students an opportunity to learn and how to be independent and practice how to study on their own. Additionally, not only academic exer- not only exercise academic skills, but it also helps students to be more responsible in managing their time and motivate themselves to study harder. But overall, most of the students said that they still prefer face-to-face classes rather than online classes. And here's Ferdinand Bonoan to give us the conclusion of our research.
So after employing the intended intervention, gathering, analyzing, and interpreting all the pertinent data, we have arrived at the conclusion of online learning is not efficient for students, and online learning is not for everyone. Based on the results and data that we have gathered, there are a lot of issues, problems, and disconnectivity that students are experiencing. First, learning environment has a big factor for a student to perform well. Most of the students or the respondents are having an unconducive and uncomfortable environment. There are some that don't have their personal space in their house for them to study. There are some that they have, but there is a noise barrier that makes them disconnected and distracted from the discussion. Second, the stable internet connection is a must for an online learning to keep the student connected. Sadly, all the respondents are experiencing and having unstable internet connection, and we cannot deny those problems with internet connection because the Philippines rank at the lower part of the global index in terms of average broadband and mobile speeds. Next is suitable gadgets are also a must for a student to be able to cope up with online learning. All of the students have their own gadget with them, but as per them, not all that they have are suitable for online learning. A cell phone or a tablet is not enough for online learning. There is still a need for a gadget such as laptop or computer that student can perform well and comply well with all the academic workloads. Mental and physical health state of the student must be acknowledged, of course. It is because of these problems, the mental and physical health of the students are being affected because these problems adds up to the stress that students are experiencing. Lastly, assistance and competent plans from the institution and the government must be highly administered. There are reports that even if there is assistance from the institution and government, it lacks because if there were if things were planned and assistance are highly administered, then there should be no broad problems that students will experience. So here's Miss Andrea Dumlao to further discuss our recommendations.
Based on the conclusion, we have come up with the following recommendations. First, the Department of Education, DepEd, and the school should assist students who are struggling to adjust to new learning. They should pay attention to students' complaints because we are still in the grip of a pandemic. Understanding the students would really be a big help in assisting them to be able to adjust fully in this kind of setup. Second, they must create a learning community for the students because this provides students more opportunities to connect with instructors and fellow students to discuss coursework, assist one another through difficulties, share ideas, and most importantly, become more engaged. It would be better to let the students feel like they are still with their teachers and classmates in a classroom setup where they can freely express themselves and interact with them. Third, the teacher and student relationship is highly important because it has a positive and long-term impact on both students' academic and social development. It also shows that students are more likely to trust their teachers, be more engaged in learning, behave better in class, and achieve higher academic levels. Next, because many students do not have the means to provide for the new learning setup, it is necessary to provide students with devices to work on. These devices will be of great assistance to them in meeting the requirements and attending their synchronous classes. Finally, the government must step up to provide a better and safer online learning for students. Other factors such as internet connection, financial status, and situation should be considered because they can have a significant impact on students' learning outcomes. Furthermore, they should provide and ensure that alternatives are available to all students, particularly those from low-income families, because they lack the resources to provide the necessary equipment for online learning.
And that concludes our presentation. We hope that you learned something from us. Once again, I'm Ferdinand Bonoan,
I am Reina Diaz.
I am Andrea Gil M. Dumlao.
And I'm John Miguel Aliada.
and thank you so much for your for listening.